Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Da Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, a podcast that only talks about our league, the only league that matters. Week 10 recap episode, episode 45. We've got Vibe Check. BP's Complaining Corner is back again. More of the same shit there, I'm sure. Gossip, trade talk. Finally got some trades to talk about again. And then DBL Game of the Week. Had a good one. Zach starts of the week. Just a few there. And feeling myself featuring Kyle Peeler. If the very elusive Kyle Peeler will come on the pod. I don't know why this is so hard. I don't know why it's so hard to get Kyle Peeler on this fucking show. But it is. But I'm going to see if I can pull it off. He's already ditched us once. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that we can get the electric, the anointed Kyle Peeler. Let's have a good episode. Vibe check. Overall, very tough week. I would say if you ask the general population of fantasy footballers, managers, owners, whatever you want to call us, this shit was hard. I think unless you had Jamar Chase or like Bijan Robinson and, you know, maybe some Joe Burrow owners, even though it didn't work that way in our league, I think you struggled this week and you had to really lean on some guys that haven't came through before. And it was overall, it just shows how good you need to be in order to get a win. And in this league, especially. A lot of teams had very poor player performances. I'm sure a lot of teams have guys that they just absolutely despise, hate, dead to you, whatever you want to say. I know I got pretty dramatic as far as how I feel about my team. I did think that the ones that did have those big shooters, big performers like Jamar Chase, you found this week super easy. And that's just how it's going to be sometimes. Playoffs is only 4 weeks away. Okay, that is crazy that we are 4 games left in the regular season, that 4 games, every game matters, like I've been saying for the last 10 weeks. And now we're in the nitty gritty time. I will have a playoff predictor. So this idea kind of came up late. Unfortunately, I will not have enough time to really, because I want to spend some time on this. Playoff prediction scenarios. I want to run our shit through a calculator. Now, I know running our league info through a calculator goes against a lot of things we have clowned on this very show. Putting your roster, putting a trade through a trade calculator to see if that makes sense. Start sit-em decisions based off of what a computer said. Yes, those are going to get clowned on, and they're going to probably continue to get clowned on. I want to put the playoff scenario just for aid reasons so it's something I can refer to. And then I want to BP-ify it. That's so lame that I just did that. I want to put my own spin on it and actually, because a computer is going to just take projections, take the higher record and assume that they score this points per game versus this points per game and come up with a win-loss. No. I'm going to use this old noggin right here to determine who I think is going to win these matchups actually in week 12, week 13, week 14, the final 3 weeks of the season. So I was going to try to do that today. I started playing around with it. It's just going to take me too long. And I don't mind putting in the work, but I do have to put this podcast out in a timely manner. If I wait till tomorrow to put this pod out, such as like that puts us at Wednesday, nobody cares about last week anymore. So for the people, I've got to produce this content. I've got to put out this content for you guys Tuesday. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't want to half-ass anything, even though I half-ass pretty much every episode. So I will be doing my own playoff calculator. I will be putting up a graphic right now of what this is going to look like. So little playoff in the hunt graphic, if you will. Shout out Marky. She's going to help me with this, and we're going to actually give some more legitness to this league that it obviously is fucking popping, but now we're going to have our own little playoff scenario win and get in scenarios. Hopefully I can pinpoint certain games that are really going to be crucial, must win. I would love to find a game that's must win. If you win, you lose, you're out. If you win, you're in. Maybe we get some of those that don't happen just on the last week of the season. Another part to this is that it is hard to do this because all of the teams in our league right now are in the hunt still, technically. The chances of Donald making it are very slim, obviously. He is 2-8. But if he finishes fills out the rest of the year with wins, he's sitting at 6-8. That's possibly, I don't know, it's not technically out by any means if a lot of other things go wrong for people. He might. I would have to spend time on it, and that's what I haven't done. And I'm not going to cheat you guys. And then vice versa, Peeler could lose his final 4 games, and even though he's top spot right now, he could miss the playoffs, which would be insane, but it is possible. Speaking of Peeler does take over the top spot this week. I've been kind of crowning him as this wagon the last few weeks. It's kind of been the narrative going around for good reason. The guys that he have are just incredible. Jamar Chase, JJ, Justin Jefferson, and Tyreek Hill. He does have Alvin Kamara, which is a top 5 running back this year, but the record wasn't there yet, and now he is tied with Zach and Braden, and now he's got the top spot because he does lead the points for category over those guys by about 120 points. He has a current winning streak of 3. He deserves every bit of the credit that he's been getting from everyone. He's still got to go out and win it. Now, if you remind a little league history, he was the last place loser of the year. And the year before that, he won. So he's kind of doing this type of a thing right now. And, honestly, he's probably the odds-on favorite to win it right now, just based on his overall roster looking as great as it does. And he is scoring. He scored 165 points this week. That's why he's joining the podcast later on to try to, we'll talk about his successes and all that. So I talked about the playoff scenarios, playoff forecast. I really think that would be fun for the final 3 weeks to have something that's ever-changing, ever-flowing. Again, I'm going to put my own forecast on it. I may still have on there the actual computer chances, like it'll say BP's 21% chances. But if I go 0-4, if I win out the league, I'll give you an exact, because I'm just going to preview this week, and here I am talking 10 minutes into this thing. I have Mr. Donald, Mr. and Tyler as my final 4 games. Mr. Donald, Mr. should be 4 winnable games if I'm anything serious. I'm not anything serious, but if I win 3, 4 of those, I'm sitting with a winning record, and I'm possibly in playoffs. So my playoff chances should be higher than, I would say, 21%. But yeah, we're going to have to play around. That's going to be ever-flowing, and I might have signed myself up for far too much legwork. But who cares about being right? Fuck, I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to win a Super Bowl this year. Who gives a fuck about being right? You can just say whatever, and I am the only one that's going to hold myself accountable. And I will do that. I own up to everything I say. So if I've said something on this podcast that has hurt your feelings before and I am wrong and it's a hot take, I want you to text those to me because I would love to air them out. I would love to own up to some of the shit I've said. And if there is still one out there that I think is still crazy, like anybody that said Josh Allen still is going to suck this year, go ahead, bring that up. I would love to discuss that as well. But if there is something like, hey, Aaron Rodgers is going to be incredible, Devontae Adams is going to be great, yeah, and I was obviously fucking stupid wrong about that. Travis Kelce's washed, sure, yeah, let's. Anyways, BP's complaining corner. Monday night, post-game, I wore this stupid fucking jersey. I got off of work, watched the game in my work clothes. Dolphins go down and score right away, so I take my fat ass upstairs and I put a jersey on. So that's what good fans do. They got to fucking show up for their team. And I did that. And we went on to score 5 field goals. Didn't get in the end zone one time. Most frustrated I've been with this fucking team. Can't blame anything. Can't blame injuries. We got back 2 offensive linemen. Switched up the offensive line that looked fucking atrocious. You could say it's cohesiveness and the unit needs to build together. Sure. But I knew we were in a bad spot. Dolphins, they were desperate teams. In prime time, they're going to show up, and they fucking rolled us up and fucking got dominated up front. Pussy football. Speaking of pussy football, it is a fantasy podcast. I forget. You know what? The theme is, and if my fucking vibe check tomorrow isn't this, I'm going to fucking be mad at myself, is don't trust in anybody. Don't believe in anybody. Don't have guys unless you're Patrick Mahomes. Just don't have anybody that you love and trust in them because they can only let you down. Having strong opinions means fucking nothing when they're the wrong people. And then you just look stupid and you feel stupid. Aaron Rodgers hasn't scored so poorly in fantasy football until I put my faith and I put my trust into him. I could have picked any other quarterback. I solely blame my entire fantasy loss on my quarterback decision. I just thought the Jets and Cardinals game was going to be a high-scoring game. Yes, I thought the Jets were going to compete. Everyone thought the Jets were going to fucking compete. Nobody's seen that coming. Not even the Jets fucking haters. Nobody's seen that coming. But it did. It happened. I had 2 pieces of the Jets offense that failed to score a touchdown. In him and Davante Adams. Another pitiful decision by me was getting Davante Adams. It was crazy. Davante Adams wasn't even a bad trade. DK Metcalf hasn't played since that trade. Braden has yet to be able to have DK in his roster since getting him on his team. Davante Adams, he's been decent. James Conner, you could say 1-for-1. James Conner, Davante Adams, you would want James Conner. Absolutely. Actually, you know what? I'm still a dickhead for making that trade. That was a bad trade. DK was a throw-in at that point. I hate that I put my faith into Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams like it was 2020, and I thought it was just going to just run it back and work again. I don't know what I was thinking. I put my faith in my guys, and they fucking let me down. Breece Hall, got rid of him, brought in Devon. I mean, the rest of my team, I just hate them. Even Jordan Love coming back. Now I got Jaden Reed. I don't know. I've been setting up my team sorta to try to make a run, and I just keep losing fucking games. I think this is 3 straight. Donald beat me. And I'm going to talk about it all tomorrow, but Donald losing to Dakota, basically. I mean, the entire team is Dakota's team. I go down the roster, his whole team is Dakota's team. And it's not just the trade he made this time. It's the trade he made 3 weeks ago that Donald hasn't been able to play him. Finally, he's got him in his lineup. It's literally Dakota's entire team. So that wasn't cool by Dakota. Yes, he offered me the same trade for Breece Hall and Davante Adams. Fucking sue me for not taking that trade, but I don't even know if I would have been in a better position. I would have lost still. I'm so ready for this season to be done. I'm so ready for this podcast to be done. I'm so ready for it all to be done. I hate fantasy football. I hate doing this. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm doing it because I'm fucking committed to doing a season in fantasy football. I don't want to play anymore. It's not fun. It's making me hate football. And yeah, that's where I'm at. But Thursday night football, I got a good game. I've got things that I could be doing on Thursday night. I said no, I want to watch football. I'm not done. Like I say, I'm done. But I can still hate it. I can still hate my time If you're having a bad day at work, you're going to talk about your bad day at work. And if you got your ass kicked on the football field, you're going to come home and talk about how you got your ass kicked on the football field. This is fantasy football. All I can do is cry when it's bad and be happy when we win. And I've only done that 4 times this year. Happy when we win. Other than that, that's all I got. One more thing. Talk about accountability. I've talked about it in the past. Aaron Rodgers is as bad as everyone's been saying all year long. I've been trying to defend him because of the legacy that is Aaron Rodgers. I wish he would have retired. I wish he wouldn't have tried to do the Tom thing. Not everybody's Tom fucking Brady. Some people come back and they're just fucking Joe Flacco. Well, even Joe Flacco's looked better than this. This is as bad as a quarterback has ever looked. This is Peyton Manning was better than this. This is bad. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. He has ruined his legacy in my eyes. I used to at least be able to say he was the greatest thrower of the football. He is none of that. And it's not just because he didn't perform for my fantasy team. It is pitiful. He has ruined the entire Jets stacked roster. Either Aaron Rodgers is that bad or all 9 of those incredible players that they have on their team, that they have like insane talent, or they're all overrated. I don't know which one it is. It still could be that they're all terrible and overrated. From C.J. Mosley, Sauce Gardner, to Devontae Adams, Breece Hall. Don't gotta keep Quinnen Williams. Fucking don't gotta keep naming every single one of them. But it is bad, and I'm owning up to it. Aaron Rodgers will not be Tom Brady, ever be Tom Brady. Big of me, real big of me to do this. Aaron Rodgers fucking stinks. A lot of his MVPs were probably stupid anyways. I don't know football. I don't know ball. Gossip after 2 straight weeks of Tyler dominating, coming on this podcast, having weak highs. Just got to quickly mention that, boy, did he just lay a fucking dud. And this is the team. He turned into a pumpkin again. You know, basically Tyler is the Vikings. Basically Tyler is Sam Darnold. His highest score this week was Deebo Samuel at 12.6. Hey, I'm not ragging on him. The guy has, obviously, he got 3 top scores. I love having him on the pod. If this is more fuel for him, fucking so be it. But just to defend, look, let's just find its level real quick. Tyler's team maybe isn't like the dominant force that he is. He is sitting 9th ranked team in this league with the same record as me. So I would say that to his face. Ultimate boom or bust team, and this week was a bust. Possibly blew his load last week. Travis Kelce took a lead over Trey McBride, so I'm losing that. Another L for BP. I don't know. I mean, the guy's heating up. Wrong time. It's getting cold. Travis Kelce's starting to be good. I don't know. Trey McBride continues to be an insane talent, but just not producing fantasy points. And it doesn't really make sense because Kyler's balling and he's not really throwing it to anybody else. No one else is balling over there. I don't know why Trey McBride isn't getting the production that he should be getting. So I don't know. Speaking of Trey McBride, Jared, who is his owner, I talked a lot of shit about him last week in last week's episode, basically saying he's a farce, fake fantasy owner, doesn't actually make any good moves, just listens to a computer. This week, I actually thought he made an insanely great move by going to go get Joe Burrow. He once again trade raped another person. I don't know why. We're going to save this for trade talk, but I don't know why everyone continues to just trade Jared top 5, top 10 people for his bench players, for guys he will never start. And you're just like, here you go. Here's a top 5 player. That's what Adam did. So Joe Burrow goes in, scores 33 points. Obviously, He lost this week because it was against it was against Jamar Chase. But in the moment, sitting there Thursday night, Friday morning, if you're looking at it, at least he cushioned the blow slightly a little bit with that Jamar Chase. At least he got a piece of it by having Joe Burrow to go along with it. Now, the rest of this team doesn't lay duds and lay poor performances. Jared he made like the move of the week there, going to get Joe Burrow to spot start over Jared Goff and CJ Stroud, who both sucked. And that was a great move by Jared. It didn't work out. He didn't win, but I believe it deserves a little hat tip. Like, hat off. You wouldn't do this, of course, because of the hairline situation, but that is a great fantasy move from you, Jared. I know Justin still hates me right now. Currently still not talking to me due to last week's fantasy football drama. But, Thanksgiving's coming up. Hopefully he'll be fine with me then. And I know he hates me talking about him on the podcast. But, again, I want another hat tip here because he has been grinding through all the noise this year. He's been pretty much talked about a little bit, good and bad, on every podcast. And I just got to say, Bijan, Chuba, Brian Robinson / Eckler has been as good as any 3 running back trio we have in this league. And then he's got Pacheco coming back pretty soon. So Bijan obviously has been talked about a lot. He's completely flipped the switch. He's back to being he's amazing. 3-4 weeks of him being a top 5 running back, finishing in the top 5. I think he had 1 week in there where it was kind of like another 10, 15 point. But all in all, I look at Justin's team after a week and I say, wow, his team's pretty good. And then I see the next week when he's got to put together, and I always look at his next up, like before his team scores, and I'm like, how is this team fucking? I don't know. Like, I do just got to remind myself, it did have a 3-game win streak, a losing streak. It just came off of that, and it's his first win in a while. But all in all, like it's the team's playing well, and if he could get a receiver, holla at your boy. If he could get a receiver, then, maybe he's cooking. Maybe he's cooking here. So, all right, trade talk. After last week's episode, I pretty much I don't know if I listened to myself back or I talked myself into misery by sheer talking and editing a podcast, and I decided I needed to make a move. The week before, me and Zach had a trade pretty much cooked up. It was the same trade. It was never changing off of the trade. It was just a matter of if I would accept it or not. It was finally parting ways with Breece Hall. I know everyone has had to deal with listening to me talk about Breece Hall, whether or not I actually like him, if he's actually a good player, if it's something I'm committed to long term. And for the longest, I really did not want to trade Breece Hall. That was legit. But coming off of another loss, I decided I had to make a move, and I needed to win, but it was against Donald. And I thought, I would be okay trading for a guy that was currently on a bye. That part didn't matter to why I lost this last week, but here's the trade. Breece Hall, Cedric Tillman for David Montgomery and Jaden Reed. On one side of the coin, it gets me away from another Jets player, getting a dreadful offense off my team. Bringing in David Montgomery, who I think's either slightly downgrade or equal to Breece Hall. And then bringing in Jaden Reed to stack with my Jordan Love, and possibly, that's a good trade. It was a fair trade last week. It was a fair trade this week. On Zach's side of the coin, I think it strongly helps him if Breece Hall figures it out. Breece Hall and CMC together, him getting CMC back and Breece Hall, it's like, wow, you have preseason top 2 running backs in the draft available to you. You have them now in your lineup to go along with Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Lamar Jackson, blah, blah, blah. He's got a team. He's got a squad over there. And Dak's reasoning definitely has had to come with, I need to compete with some of these bigger rosters, the Peelers, Braden, even Austin's team starting to look like a complete team. Jared's team certainly is in the conversation for a nice roster. And Zach's team has been playing well, but it needed some more juice. This also could have broke Zach's team. This is a make or break type of move, and I think we'll see. This is going to be the trade that decides whether or not This is going to be the trade that decides if Zach's going to go far in the playoffs, how he's going to perform. This is also going to determine whether or not I make playoffs or whether I could pull a couple wins out of my hat. So a lot in depth on that trade, but it is I think, and I haven't made a lot of bad trades this year, other than my Puka for Xavier Worthy. I've made a lot of trades. I've made 5 trades in total, and I don't think I've made any wrong trades. The problem is no trades have helped me win. So technically, is it a wrong trade? I don't know. My team's just cursed. I just can't, no matter what happens. So at the same time, right after that, there was another trade in the works. And turns out after talking to Dakota, there was another trade in the works. Dakota sent his whole team to fucking Donald. I was playing Donald, of course. So that fucked me hard. And for the second time this year, basically, Dakota sends his entire team to Donald. Donald filled his whole roster and all the gaps in it because of this trade. So in Hall is Donald brings in Cortland Sutton, Darnell Mooney, DeAndre Swift, Rico Dowdle. All 4 of them go into his starting lineup right away. For Josh Jacobs and Kenneth Walker, who were both on a bye week. So this was a full punt from Dakota. He said, fuck it, I don't give a shit about this week. Wild move. Did try his best, but he absolutely laid a stinker. But so Dakota did this earlier in the year with Donald and gave him Mark Andrews and Bucky Irving. So I was playing last week. I was playing versus Donald, who had 6 of 9 players. Kicker and defense are 2 of them. So now we got 6 of 7 players that were formerly on Dakota's team that Donald put in and beat me with. So that wasn't cool. I did have an opportunity to kind of squash it by accepting a trade that involved Devontae Adams and Breece Hall for basically the same 4 guys that Donald got. And I decided that wasn't a smart move. Then Donald makes the move in my face with the same 4 guys I just turned down and then beats me with those same 4 players. So just some days you're MVS on the Bills. Some days you're MVS on the Saints. I'm just MVS on the Bills all the time. Next trade we have is on Thursday Night Football. We have Adam and Jared. That happened about an hour before kickoff. Joe Burrow for Javonte Williams. I didn't time out. There's no lag in your mic, folks. Joey B had 33.72 points, and Javonte had 2.7. Adam's argument is I have Jalen Hurts. I don't need Joey B too. There's not a shadow of doubt in my mind that there isn't a better running back he could have brought in for Joey B. Maybe I'm wrong though. There's a lot of people in this league that need quarterbacks. I don't understand that one, and I don't understand why people decide this is why Jared has had success in our league is because people just say fuck it and give him top talent for his bench players. And that's just another example here. And sure shit, Adam played Javonte Williams over Jalen Warren for the Steelers. And Javonte had 2.7. Jalen Warren had 10 point something. So bad move by him altogether. Loser. And Adam lost. So at least Adam does something dumb. It equals loss this time. Win for everybody. Win for everybody. DBL game of the week. Best one we've ever had as far as a truly good matchup. Pretty much we had a nice stack of Thursday games. Didn't really have too many players play on the Sunday morning slate, but we had a nice afternoon slate, and then it goes into Sunday night. Went all the way till drama all the way until Monday. And overall, I think no manufactured drama, just good, clean, talking shit in the group chat. Nobody got their feelings hurt. I think it was just a truly, truly good DBL game of the week. The reason why these things exist. Kudos to both of our DBL members. Braden versus Zach. Kudos to both of you.
Happy CMC Day, everybody. That's right. The best player in fantasy football is back. We've been without him all year, but he's fucking back. I don't care that Jamar Chase scored 55 points. That doesn't help me, this video, or this team. So for that sake, Christian McCaffrey is the best player in fantasy football. He's back. He's getting the workload. He's got no pain. They're not working him in slow. I'm not worried. But even if I didn't have him, I'd blow Braden's team the fuck out. He's all smoke and mirrors, this guy. Bills, he's got Allen. Allen's just going to throw everything to Shakir. I'll wash that out. It might come down to Amon-Ra versus Nico Collins. Be a real shame if Nico Collins didn't get the nod to play tonight. All right, see you guys.
Good morning, members of the Boys League. First off, it's a damn shame that Malik's throwing up a stinker over in Germany. I'd say the worst performance over there since the Holocaust. Yeah, sure. Happy CMC Day, dude. His body's held together by a thread, kind of like your marriage. Honestly, your team's so fucking ugly. Austin tried to fuck it in college. Yeah, it would be a damn shame if Nico didn't play, but I went ahead and picked up Demarcus Robinson to slide in there next to Puka. No way that goes wrong. Anyway, everybody have a good Sunday. Side note, sorry the Legacy Longhorns got knocked out of the playoffs the other day. Fucking horns down. Everybody have a good Sunday. Suck it, Zach.
As you can see, pretty great videos as well. See, that's what I'm talking about, boys. That is good shit. Lamar got the week started with 32.9 from Zach, and then after that, Braden slowly came back to try to amount to a comeback. Nico Collins is the real reason why Braden lost. I mean, Zach played well. Zach put up a pretty damn good week in 123 points. He hasn't gotten over that hump of like truly, truly great. But Nico Collins is the reason why Braden really got fucked here. Nico Collins started practicing that morning. There's alerts coming out from every website in the book. Sunday Night Football. This is the perfect chance to unveil your new come back and save our season. Let's get this offense clicking again. And then it was listed as a game time decision. So Braden did have a failsafe in picking up Demarcus Robinson, but it didn't work. Before the game, it pretty much was like, it kind of came out like afternoon slate. Nico Collins out, not going to make it. I'm pretty sure I would love to be a fly on the wall when Braden found out that news. He needed like 35 points from Puka and one more roster spot, which would have been Nico. And then so he had to plug into Marcus Robinson. That turned into a tough night. I think it was only like 30 points because Puka did well. He ended up with like 20 points. Final score was 123 to 119, difference of only 4.1 points. So you could look at his roster and say, yo, you had like 10 points of a receiver on your bench. Why did you start Demarcus Robinson? Well, it's because you had to hold out hope to try to get Nico Collins in your lineup on a Sunday night. So by the time you find that news out, you're out of players. So I don't feel bad for him, but it definitely would have sucked if it was myself. Like if anybody in that situation, like you're obviously going to try to play Nico there, and you could have gotten fucked the other way around. You could have played a bunch of guys, played Wandale and only had 10 points in there, and then Nico goes off for fucking 25, 30 points, and you didn't even give yourself a shot. So DBL game of the week, round of applause. Next week, we have some great potential matchups. This week, I should say. This week, we have a 5-5 Jared versus a 5-5 Dakota. Maybe a very must-win game. Loser fraud situation. If Jared loses this one, it could be absolutely nail in the coffin for the guy. And same with Dakota. Like, shit or get off the pot, dude. What are we doing? Kyle versus Zach. That's a 1 versus 3 matchup there. Tyler versus Adam. Potentially another shit or get off the pot game. 2 versus 4, Braden Austin. Great potential matchups here. I think this one's going to come down to, and this is kind of what it's been turning into, is who do we want to hear from in these matchup videos? Who do we want to talk about their games right now? Are we exhausted so far? Are we exhausted with hearing from Tyler? Does that keep us from wanting to make him a DBL game of the week, even though I don't think he's been in one yet? Do we want to hear from Kyle? Because he's not very electric. I'm just kidding. Unnecessary shot. Zach starts of the week. Keep it short. Try to keep it short. Jesus, I don't know if I have it physically capable of keeping anything short. But Aaron Rodgers over anyone else that was playing football that day would have been a better start than Aaron Rodgers. Specifically, Russell Wilson. Worst start maybe I've ever made in my fantasy career was starting Aaron Rodgers. Technically, it wasn't a bad decision. If you play the results, it was the worst decision of all time. But if you are just being fair, like the spot was good. But all in all, just a nail in the coffin game for myself. I think that might have ended my season by starting Aaron Rodgers there. The year is 2020. I'm considering Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson for a start-him-sit-him decision in my 16 fantasy league. I wake up. I'm actually in 2024. This is a fucking nightmare. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, both fucking stink. I'm actually in my 12-team high-stakes league. I'm also fat. That might have to get edited from the podcast. But that's how I envision that tweet going or whatever. And whatever. It didn't do well in the group chat, but whatever. Dakota sitting Justin Herbert after spending hold on, back to what I was saying. Aaron Rodgers. Fuck him. Dakota sitting Justin Herbert after spending like $18, $20 in fab dollars for him, and then starting Sam Darnold. Difference of 13 points into Sam Darnold versus Justin Herbert. He ended up losing the game by 18 points. Bad start. Bad start by Dakota, no doubt about it. Why even spend the fab bucks if you're not going to play him? It was a good matchup versus the Colt. Whoever he played, it was a good matchup. All right, finishing up with feeling myself. This is where I sign off and say see you next week. I will have the playoff scenarios, predictions, all that for you. So look forward to that episode. Thank you all for listening once again. Peeler should be joining the podcast, and it should be a pretty good conversation. I've got some notes for him, so I hope we can finally get the elusive Peeler on. And if you guys have any questions, comments, any recommendations, anything like that at all, just you know where to find me. Hit me up. And thank you for listening. Thanks. All right, welcome on, Kyle Peeler. We fucking did it. We did it. We got him on. Second time top score, 165 points, 165.42. On the heels of Jamar Chase, 55.4. That came on a Thursday night. It was pretty much never close. What's up, man? How you doing?
Great. First place.
Yeah, top score on a week. You got first place. You're tied for first place, but you've got a commanding points for lead. Your team's looking great. What a time to make your first appearance on the pod.
I know, for like I was telling you before, for my sake, I tried last time. It just BP used me as content. It's all right though.
I keep getting accused of this. It's true. Guilty.
No, it's all good. It feels good, man. 165 points. I think might be the most I've ever scored in this league.
I was trying to find ways to poke holes in it. Like, even if you didn't have Jamar drop 55, which is the reason why you got top score. It's tough. It would have been tough for you not to, unless your team was completely dog shit. Like the team that had Jamar Chase before you, mister. Even if you give him like 20 points, which is probably what his baseline is, what he's going to do, you still have 130 points. Like, you still get the win this week. The rest of your team didn't do bad at all, and it's just the difference on whether or not you were top scorer or not. So you had a pretty solid week.
I am very, very confident in my team right now. Seeing Tyreek get in the end zone last night was massive for the I think just the locker room, to be honest. You know, he hasn't done shit since week 1.
Yeah.
Looking like himself a little bit, but I would be lying if I said I'm not concerned about Najee Harris. Him being my RB2 right now is a little sketchy, but if Jamar Chase can go out there and score 55 every week, that'd be I'll take that fucking swap.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of just an embarrassment of riches, if you ask me, because Najee Harris has been playing really well. I think you're more so thinking about the reputation when it comes to Najee, but he's been doing well. Like, he's doing the right things with all of his touches. He's finally looking like a little bit more explosive. The team is playing pretty good. They're gonna be in playoff contention, playing meaningful football. They're going to lean on him a lot. They're going to make him a part of that offense. I don't know. Your team is in this cool spot where if you have that three-headed monster between Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill, you just need one of them once a week. Like, one of them to do something great. The rest can be mediocre. And if 2 or 3 of them can be great, you're looking at top score type shit. And then Kamara, hand up, completely wrong about him. Kamara's been a fucking dog.
Absolute beast, dude. And
he's a wide receiver in the backfield.
Continues, and he's fucking been banged up since like week 2, I think. Probably because they use him so fucking much. But yeah, he just continues to go out there and fucking shove it up everyone's ass. Yeah. The one that I wanted to touch on, you gotta just take this one on the chin. Travis Kelce is slapping you across the face.
Yeah, he's putting that little 4-inch dick right on my forehead. He took the lead, and I acknowledge it in the pod, of course, because I'm a man of integrity, and I always own up to my things that I say that are stupid. Yeah, Travis Kelce is better than Trey McBride, and he's the best fantasy tight end going for the last 10 years, and he's still that, apparently. It was looking good, though, man. That first 7 weeks.
It was way too tasty for a BP take. I'm like,
that first 6 weeks looked insanely good. Like, I was like, man, I'm right about everything. Like, what if I'm never wrong again?
5 points. You're just like, fuck. The situation I'm in now, though, is like, I think it was is Justin's team still QB Carousel or whatever it was?
No, but it's been his team name in the past.
I'm in that fucking boat because Brock just continues to ball, but it's like, I can't fucking sit Pat Mahomes.
Honestly, that's just, you're in the QB carousel. That's any team, any fantasy team that exists with Patrick Mahomes right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you have Patrick Mahomes on your roster, you're like, I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
He's not a good fantasy quarterback. I think what you used him for already and just going to get him for a spot start to fill in when Tua was dead was all you're going to use for it. I think Just let him die on your roster, or see if you can trade him. I don't know.
I gotta look
Not
at
that I need to give you fucking
his
advice.
his stats against the Bills, but I mean, after that he has Carolina and the Raiders, so like he should fucking torch them, unless they're just absolutely blowing him out.
Yeah, but I mean, Purdy's using his legs. Purdy's he's got to play desperate football. Patrick Mahomes doesn't. Patrick Mahomes needs to play smart football. He needs to play don't turn the ball over football. And Brock Purdy just needs to fucking air it out. He needs to get dubs. He needs to. They're in a must win for that division. So I don't know. I would think it would be hard to go against Purdy unless he starts sucking. Obviously, then make a move against it.
Hey,
I don't know. I can't really poke too many holes in your roster here.
No, there's not one. Don't waste your time looking for one. How much are these week highs? $50?
$50. You got two of them.
All right.
Yeah. You got 50 another $50 coming your way. So I talk a lot on this podcast about complete teams a lot. Like who, other than your team, who out here is competing with you? What is a nice looking team that you think deserves a little bit of credit that maybe I'm not giving them?
Credit that you're not giving them.
I'm giving everyone credit. I'm out here dishing credit left and right. I'm like LeBron James. Okay. Is there one that you actually like think is legit from a top team? Now that you're number one, you're top dog, you should have an opinion.
I'll do some tiers here. Tier 1 teams, I'll give a good and a bad. Tier 1, I think Zach's team is like, especially when he gets Mike Evans back, I think Zach's team is going to be a fucking problem, especially with CMC back.
Yeah. I know Zach is so sick of hearing how everyone thinks his team's good. He's just so mad at it every week, but he's 7-3.
That's Zach.
Yeah, that's just Zach.
He's never
Mr. Humble. Mr. Humble.
Yeah. Get back in the locker room. Let's fucking get to work.
Mm-hmm.
A fraudulent team on top tier, fucking Braden. I know you've been hyping his team up, and I know I lost to him, but I think his team fucking sucks. We're getting the fucking guest.
I think that's a smart move because you do have a lot of weird roster guys, a lot of guys in his roster the last few weeks. My heightened liking to his team is because he's got Nico Collins and DK coming back. And if those guys don't come back, you're right. His team is very fraudulent.
It's fucked.
Yeah, he's fucked.
I'm going in the pod, dude. I want to get on it.
Okay. Well, now seems like as good as time as ever to wrap this bad boy up. Peeler, thank you so much for coming on the pod. Your team's a wagon. I got to give it to you in every bit of the way. I only think that you can fuck this up from here on out. It is in your hands to fuck this up. So I'm depending on you to fuck this up so you don't win 2 out of the last 3 championships.
I do want to add one team if they can get some wins. Dakota's team is looking nice, but the situation with CD is fucked.
Yeah, it's fucked. He keeps mortgaging the future and playing around with very crucial wins. And
I know.
And he just punted this whole week away and just said, "Fuck it, I don't need this win." And he lost. And I mean, yeah, he does have a good roster, and we'll see what can happen with him. But
his 3-headed running back is looking nice. Mixing Jacobs and Walker.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you can play armchair fucking roster building, but you got to win some fucking games, and he needs to do that. So thanks.
Well, I'll see you guys. I plan on beating Tyler. What's he at, 3?
What?
He's at 3 high scores?
Yes, he has. Yes, right. You're at 2. You're in second with that.
I plan on getting about 4 more weeks, so 4 more high scores, and then I'll see you guys.
Oh, God.
17.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Congrats, man. Congrats on all your success. We'll see you in the playoffs. And, you obviously should dominate the rest of the year and not lose.
Talk to you later. Don't jinx me, fucker.
All right. Later. Bye.